Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be talking about the new Black Panther War for Wakanda DLC from Marvel's Avengers. Personally, I was really excited for this DLC. I had been really hyping this up after Hawkeye being pretty boring as playable characters, not interesting. The story was okay, but I didn't really care for it. I was hoping that it was going to be its own thing and not try to continue from Avengers. I was glad to see that this was basically its own mini game within the game. It kind of sucked that it was in Marvel's Avengers of all games, just because, well, I think we all know it's a buggy fucking mess. But other than that, I was really excited. For the most part, the DLC itself really lived up to my expectations. It was by no means bad, but it was also not great. Let me explain about that. But to begin, I want to start with the good, because I would rather start this video happily so you guys would actually stay longer. Alright, so the story. Overall, this story was fine. I enjoyed it for the most part and was really enjoying the new DLC. I had really high expectations for this. And while it wasn't as good as I was hoping, it was nowhere near as bad. And I shouldn't have had such high expectations for it, I don't know, just it being Avengers, which kind of sucks, but I fully believe that this DLC was its own thing, and it feels like it too. I've heard many people say that this felt like it could be its own game on its own, and most people are taking it that way. No, most people are coming back after not playing Hawkeye, or maybe neither Kate Bishop or Hawkeye, and are just enjoying the story for what it is. I'm really happy though that this isn't connected to the overarching fight between AIM and the Avengers. Really, I find that boring. I didn't really care for it in the main campaign, and after spending many hours just fighting the same robots over and over again before this, after the campaign, I really just was tired of it. While they do try to include AIM into this whole thing, it's really not about AIM for once, so that was fun. Claw is a good villain. I really enjoyed that he wasn't like his MCU counterpart, who was just a huge goofball and actually, quite honestly, an annoyance to me. I really didn't like his character. I'm not saying the actor was bad, but anyway, I found he was pretty good. He had decent motivations, and good enough for me, honestly. And I don't know, I personally enjoyed him. This is the first time I've actually like fully enjoyed a villain in this game. T'Challa was good as well, and out of the 3 DLCs now, he's the only character that during his story I actually liked or cared about, because Kate Bishop is annoying in my opinion, and Hawkeye was just bland because, I don't know, I think they took basically any other characteristic that he could have had out of the game and gave it to another character. Now let me move on to Wakanda as a whole. Wakanda looks great, and I really enjoy the new area to play in. The AIM shit was fucking boring and really annoying after a year straight of only AIM. It feels like how I would picture Wakanda personally, and I would have been a bit, it would have been a bit cooler if we could get like a post-campaign, new spots to go to in the actual city itself, but you know, that's too much to ask for. Black Panther, his playable character at least, not like his actual character itself, sorry guys. Black Panther as a character is so much fun to play. I really enjoy his attacks, and the standout by far was the pounce. If you've seen anyone play or talk about his playstyle, you are guaranteed to have seen or heard about the pounce. Although at first I wasn't really sure if I would like Black Panther once I started unlocking skills, he became amazing. I also wasn't really sure if the knives were good or not, but after some time using them, well, they aren't really the best, they aren't the worst. I could see why someone wouldn't like them, and I really wouldn't blame them myself. I think they're good enough to do the job, well enough at least that it doesn't bother me in any way. His abilities are good as well, obviously. His ult was at first really confusing for me. I didn't really understand what it was supposed to do. It became really good. I've heard someone say they think that the main ult is like his weakest out of, or is like the weakest out of the game. I don't really agree with that. It has its purposes, and quite honestly, I've used it in really good ways quite a few times. So I think it's personally pretty good. I would say one of my favorite ones to use at least. If it's like fully upgraded, it does crazy damage. It also causes Black Panther to start Bass Chosen, at least that's what I'm pretty sure it's called. which is a pretty good effect for combat as well. I believe it just does better defense and a lot better offense and gives you like new combos to do, which is fun. I really enjoyed that. The way I have mine set up, it also unleashes 2 Wakandan soldiers that will attack as well, as long as Bash Chosen is active, so it's not like they just stay there forever, or at least as long as the Panther's there, they stay around for a little bit. He also has like a spear that just pins enemies and can damage enemies that it's also thrown at in the nearby area. It's really useful, especially when it's combined with the Panther ult. His supportive ability, while I'm still not entirely sure about it, I've played the harm thing, but I kind of skipped through what it was supposed to do. But by my understanding, it just gives you better defense. It will attack nearby enemies, making it so you can take them down, or at least some of them. And then it also gives you like a boost on offense, I think, or at least like attacks them randomly. But yeah, that was the majority of the good things, at least the things that I wanted to point out. Now, I would like to start talking about the bad things. Alright, so everyone knows this was probably on the way. You could have known that from the beta. Glitches. Anyone else see that coming? I don't know. I personally, did, but maybe I'm just a genie in a bottle. With this DLC, many new and old glitches and bugs really showed their ugly fucking faces. In my personal experience, throughout most of the campaign, I didn't really experience many until the final mission and the post-campaign content. I personally experienced a bug where enemies get attached to you and can damage you. With certain attacks only, at least, but you literally cannot attack them no matter what you do. Luckily, I was about to load into a new area when that affected me, so it took it away, at least when I loaded there, so I wasn't really mad about it. Although when I was doing the computer, the thing kept attacking me and I just couldn't do it. I was flopping over like a fish every minute because I couldn't do the computer. Although I have seen others, they've gotten like black holes in the game. Whenever they would defeat an enemy, just this huge bubble would appear and it's nothing but black. I don't really know how that gets caused or why it stays there, but it seems to be annoying anybody who has come across it. I personally believe with bugs like this and just the bugs and glitches still being a thing to this day, most people either won't come back ever or will only come back for the DLC, and once they're done with DLC they'll leave. I mean, that's saddening because I had a lot of hope for this game and I was hoping that they would be able to fix it by the next year mark, but they really haven't. I didn't experience bugs really before the campaign, so it wasn't like it was always just obnoxiously bad. I think with the new content added it made it worse, but I don't know. I personally don't think many people will be coming back to this game. Next problem. Personally, this is just like a very personal nitpick that I've had, and it's worse in this. The same over-occupied areas. This has always been an issue personally for this game, but in a few missions of this campaign it really shows. When you're in like a large mission and tons of enemies are spawning, that's fine. You have something to defeat at least. Like, it's not just a walk in the park. This might be like a solo only thing. When I was in like missions involved in this DLC especially, I would basically get constantly comboed. Like I would get shot out of the sky, I would fall down, a huge spider would just beat the fuck out of me, and then like the fucking marksman guys, or no, it's not marksman, the guys with like the spears is what I'm gonna call them, they would just beat the fuck out of me after that, and I would die instantly because I didn't have a chance to recover. It ruined the last mission for me. If you follow me on Twitter, plug my Twitter, you probably have seen how that annoyed me. The AI allies, my bad guys, the AI allies would just get in my way constantly during parkour and it would kill me. Small spoiler, it's like nothing bad, it won't ruin the game for you. There's a portion in the last mission where you have to do parkour on like the floating things that they have, but the thing is if you don't do it in a certain time, you die, because the thing that you're jumping over kills you instantly whenever it comes up. And the AI, every time I decided, I had to run for it because I had to. The AI would like walk in front of me, block me, and then I wouldn't be able to reach all the way over there, or else it would slow me down so much it would kill me. It was really annoying. I'm assuming that's a solo thing only, but it really annoyed me. Now this is all a part of the game, and it just really ruins the mood. It always has kind of for me, but it wasn't really prominent for me until this DLC, and it's just really annoying and ruins the mood when it happens over and over again, because that's just what this DLC is with the combat. It's just over and over repeated combat. Nothing really changes. Now this is a small problem that I have, and I have heard GameSpot talk about it in their video reviewing it. The voice acting at times is iffy. The person doing T'Challa's voice acting does great when he's talking normally, but whenever he has to change it from normal talking, he like, I don't know how to describe it. He starts to sound like a different person, like he's not T'Challa anymore, and he like starts to slowly mute his voice. And on top of that, there was like a scene early on in the game when he's talking to Shuri, and his animations look like he should be like yelling and is mad, and he's just talking normally. I don't know, personally that bothered me. I don't know if that's the animations problem or if that's the voice actor, and I don't want to say it's the voice actor because he did Kratos in God of War, and many people are really loving him right now for the fact that he is in this game as well. But that's just a small problem, is the voice acting for me, and it's only really T'Challa. I'm not saying he did bad, but that just personally took me out of the experience a few times. Another nitpick, because that's really what this is for me. The story is too short, and it's actually kind of boring. The DLC was about 2.5, maybe 3 hours long, and that might sound long for a DLC. Most of that time is dedicated to the usual going around and looting the area. Nothing fucking changes in this. I would say half or more of this, my game time in this DLC was just me looting, and I recorded I think every bit of the actual gameplay of the DLC, and I'm pretty sure it was like 3 hours. And I double checked myself a lot because Wakanda is kind of hard to see everything when you're running through it, which is great. I'm fine with that, but like I doubled, so it's not entirely just 3 hours. Or 2 hours. It's shorter than that. If you spent time only doing the campaign, it might be like an hour long. Like seriously, if you didn't loot at all, just ran straight to the new campaign part, it might be like an hour long experience for you. You could easily do it in between like dinner and your next soccer practice. Also, at parts, I started to get bored like in the mid section of the DLC. It wasn't like really bored. It was just I want something to happen. I was told this would be crazy fun time. It's not as crazy fun time as I was hoping. It's not really a game ruiner though, and it personally is just a small problem. Alright, so this next one is like a full-on personal experience nitpick. I'm not saying this is entirely true and everyone else has experienced it, and this is a huge problem in the game, but the last mission as a whole for me really ruined my fucking experience for this and makes me not want to play the next DLC other than Spider-Man. I want to play Spider-Man. So I've mentioned this a few times, like I said, but in the final mission, this DLC was really a problem for me. I ranted on Twitter for like an hour and a half while playing the final mission because I thought it was so fucking shit. It was really bothering me. Like I said, the AI is constantly getting in the way of parkour killing me. The anime AI, which is getting insane combos, basically instantly killing me. And the final boss, unlike I've said so far, is really fucking repetitive. Everything in this has been really repetitive so far. The final boss really stands out with it though. He is super annoying. Claw, once he hits the last mission, he's just annoying. Crossbones is there, and all he is just an extra annoyance because they don't want you to completely destroy Claw, because Black Panther easily, with 2 other teammates, not even all 4, could easily destroy Claw. I've heard someone say this is the best boss in the game. Personally, I agree with that. I don't think MODOK was even good in the game, but you know, that's just my experience. I think that this is probably the best DLC they've had, and story overall. When Claw does the bubble thing, if you've watched or played it, you've probably seen the final missions bubble. I don't know if anyone else experienced this or if I'm just bad at the game, but I personally refuse to believe that I'm bad at the game, so I'm blaming the game for this. Whenever I got in the bubble, it was even worse trying to dodge his attacks. Now, I haven't said it so far, but when you're dealing with Claw, other than his repetitive attacks are almost undodgeable, and on top of that, I don't know if it's undodgeable or if it's just he like is capable of not doing the animation and waiting for your dodge. Either way, it's even worse in the bubble because you have like nowhere to go really, and I think you have to do so much damage to get out of the bubble, so it's not like you can just keep dodging or at least attempting to dodge and hope for the best. I would die almost every time I went into the bubble, and it really started to piss me off. By the final playthrough, I was actually considering just uninstalling the game as a whole, even though I actually personally played this game a lot and enjoy some of it. I was actually about to uninstall just because Claw's fucking stupid at the end. Now, I don't really mind a hard boss, but it was so annoying and repetitive, and at times, like I said, in the bubble, too difficult to complete. It was impossible. It took me like 45 minutes to an hour and maybe an hour and a half if you're pushing it just to complete the final mission alone. I had to restart on the first part maybe 4 times and the last part maybe 5 times. It was stupid. Anyway, I'm tired of rambling. I just want to wrap this up and move on to the rating of the game overall. Personally, this DLC as a whole was maybe probably a 7 out of 8 for me if I don't include the annoyances, but with that final mission and how I experienced the game, I'm going to give it a 6.8. If you're pushing it, 7.3. It was good overall, but that final mission just completely ruined it. The AI, the crowded combos, it just ruined everything for me. This is just my personal experience. I'm not saying it's definitive, like this is just a mediocre to bad DLC. Honestly, I think is actually a pretty good DLC. I'm happy they had it because I love Black Panther's character and the story wasn't even really that bad. But I'm doing this based off my experience. Suck a dick, I don't care. Oh well. I base this on my experience, and Black Panther as a character is great. He's exciting. Probably my first or second pick for hero now, right next to Iron Man or maybe Thor, because they've been battling for a little bit for me. Anyway, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching and listening to my rants. I hope you all have a great day.